Welcome everybody! You have just joined us for the match between Jest, Jest, and the as of yet undefeated Blitzkreigers. We are in turn number 1, and it appears that the Orcs are ready to lay some wreckage down on the Blitzkreigers. Jest starts off the match.
Good.
3
He's got the ball.
Solid blocks. Picks up the ball. It is snowing out, and if you hold for my viewing audience while we have a temporary sight blockage, I'm going to try to invite the coaches into a party here so that they can hear my commentary live. Perhaps weigh in themselves or wait till after the game for a post-game interview. Screen back up. The broadcast is underway. It appears that the Orcs have picked up the ball, have pushed the elf front back across the pitch, and we got a little standoff over here. Oh, Snake Eyes! An old smash throw lays out one of the Blitzkreigers. It's not a dire situation, but it does look like there's not yet a break in the line, but that opens it up. All right, again, there seem to be tackle zones stretched across the field. That did not turn out to be a knockout that the Orcs hoped for. But it does possibly allow for this cage to be moved up. And if this elf goes down, and he does, the lineman goes down, that's going to open it up for the Orcs to push through the next turn. Unfortunately, they have already moved the ball carrier. I can hear you. Who just joined us in the chat? And yes, we have Borbot in the chat as well. Borbot, sorry. There is tumultuous weather this week, as we saw the Frozen Thrones down 2 to Disco Debo's group, Los Pumas, and that was in the rain. And so now we'll see how the snow affects this. And ladies and gentlemen, we just had my co-announcer, More Shots, join the chat. How you doing, Shots?
Doing all right. Just mixing up a drink. Give me a quick second, and I'll be right there.
Of course, of course. I'm drinking Sweet Action, which is a 6-point craft ale. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, nice. I got a cherry Coke Zero here that's about to get some Captain Morgan dumped in it.
There we go. A cherry Captain.
How's the game been so far? I'm guessing that the Kanswees Eats It got the ball first. Looks like they got a thrower.
Yep.
Over there. I miss any violence?
Not really, not yet. The Orcs have just kind of been testing that line. They opened up a hole, but they didn't take advantage of it because they'd already moved the ball carrier.
Okay.
So they're being very cautious in their approach right now. And yes, as Don Eagle pointed out, wow, Joker lost 2-0. 2-0. I don't know if that game is over.
No, when I was looking for the stream, it looked like it was still going on.
Yeah, I think they still got a few turns in there, so he's down 2-0. I'm not sure if it'll end up that way. It might end up 2-1, but whatever it is, Pumas walks out with an upset on the guy that was, I think, unanimously ranked #1 in the coaches poll this week.
They've been a favorite for seasons now. They are never an easy game, and they always seem to come up with either a win or a tie. So getting beat, that's a huge upset there.
Yeah, especially going down 2-0. And not just that, but we also got we got the guy that was #1 in the coaches poll last week playing in this game, and that's Stuntman Didi with the Blitzkreigers. Really shocking the MML, coming out as a rookie and just laying out all kinds of scores. So let's see how he holds up against a seasoned veteran here in Chase.
I think he's going to do all right as long as he can keep a little bit of separation from these Orcs. It looks like he's playing fairly conservatively, actually leaving a couple of guys on the ground. Making them foul to get more blocks on him. So I think he's going to be happy as long as he can keep. Oh, we got a foul coming in now. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, and as long as he can keep his elves alive, am I right?
That's a big thing. He's got 4 or 5 players that are really well developed, and then he's kept most of his linemen absolutely stocked. And right now, all he's going to do is try and keep those linemen that are expendable on the front lines taking the beating, and then just keep his more aggressive pass catchers and throwers kind of tucked away and safe. That's really where his bread's buttered, is with the high-end guys that he has, and that's been his claim to fame. He's got a full-strength runner, which he does most of his punishment with, and then he's got a couple of 5 agility guys that can catch a ball and pick up a ball in traffic. So he's done a real great job kind of doing that stuff.
If there was one phrase that I could use to sum up the Blitzkreigers team makeup, it's kind of back to basics. I think that's what it is. You don't see any assassins on here. You don't see any witch elves. You don't see anything crazy. It's mostly linemen, blitzers, and runners, and he's just all about positioning and utilizing that agility when it's there. So
yeah, and that's one of those where, like, right now he's got an opportunity. He's got one guy behind the play, so if he can find a way to get to the ball, pop it loose, he's got a free runner now. Or if anything happens and all of a sudden the cage isn't complete on the back, he's got a guy that can sneak in the back and blitz. So just popping that one guy behind the play really changes things.
And it'll be interesting to see, does Chase stay all in on moving the entire cage and his whole team forward, or does he drop somebody back to cover that guy?
I don't think he's going to need to. It's really one of those where he's going to focus on scoring, I think. He's going to keep putting guys in contact with that front line, taking one square at a time if he has to, and just keeping his cage safe. He's going to play traditional orc ball and really just grind it through, kind of make the elves make those dodges every turn, and just slowly push it forward. He's got enough turns that he can do that.
If there's a mess up, though, something goes wrong, like you said, that elf blitzer, Banlan, is off to the races. 5 agility over there, so he can catch anything, man.
Yeah, he's not going to make many mistakes, and that's even if he puts somebody on him, that's still going to be most likely an 83% catch. So
right with the 5 agility.
He's got a lot of very dangerous players. It'll be interesting to see what happens on that sideline now. We've got a couple of guys in the surfing range. Depending on how the elf movements go from here, that could be a dangerous play right there.
Do you hear the Beach Boys playing in the background? Oh, elf tries to make a dodge. And, Snake Eyes it. He's down. And is that the opening that Kansas West needs?
I don't know. That is one of those where he's got a lot of guys in contact. The first few blocks are really going to spell a long ways in this game.
It does not look like he's got...
So he gets out of that one.
Yeah, he's got only one guy with tackle over there. So...
Whoa, look at that dodge.
Wow, dodges out with the Black Orc. That was very, very risky.
Oh, he's bringing the pain, too.
Now you probably have seen more of Chase JJ and Kansas West Eats It on your side of the pond as far as the conference goes. Is this his traditional style of play, risky like that, dodging with a 2 agility Black Orc?
A little bit. He's not afraid of anything.
That was very aggressive.
I actually played them when they first got into the farm. I played him once, and yeah, he plays a solid game. He'll take a risk here or there.
That was a big risk.
I think that one was just one of those. It was, but he's got rerolls in his back pocket, and he's running out of turns to use them. So it's more of a calculated risk. It's a 50% dodge or something like that out of there.
Once you reroll
it's still to the. Yeah, he can re-roll it, and it really advanced his cage. Now it's going to make it real difficult to kind of get elves in position to really recapture that.
And he's used his blitz. I'm surprised he's not utilizing the guy with tackle more. And here he comes. Oh, he's coming over. He goes for the extra step, and he takes a tumble. But
he had
that's
to
re-rolls
that covers up the back of that cage now. So that was worth the re-roll and the risk, because otherwise there was an opening where an elf could sneak in there probably.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, right now, though, that right side of that cage is looking a little vulnerable to me.
It is, but if you look at what direction the person would attack from, he's actually got a bubble in behind it where it's still safe. No matter where it drops, there's a lot of tackle zones.
You never know with this game, though. As happened in the TML game against the Gladiators last week, we actually saw a guy get blocked, and the ball went back in the direction that the block was coming back from.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of those where right now I think, yeah, there's definitely an opening. And he's got a couple of elves that could take advantage of that, but it's going to be most likely a red block. And he's gonna be opening up other areas if he does that. So
and because it's a thrower, a red block's not that bad in this case, because he doesn't have block on the ball carrier.
True, but at the same point, if it fails, it leaves that guy in a really vulnerable position. I think right now the Blitzkreigers are in a lot of contact with the orcs, and they're going to have to start making those real tough decisions.
Put pressure on the ball.
And here it comes.
It always gets amusing to me when you see an elf team try to get bashy with orcs, and now exactly what you talked about happened. That blitz did not work out in dislodging the ball, and it does leave the blitzer, or the lineman that blitzed, in trouble for the next round. But at least he's bringing men over to make sure that it's limited in terms of assists.
Well, it looks like after that failed, they're going to try and stall the cage right where it's at. They're just going to mob on that ball and everybody around there. The orcs will have a chance to bring a lot of their guys in too, and this is going to get real dirty and real bashy in the near future. I wouldn't be surprised to see that blitzer come back into it also.
Do you think that there's a possibility here that next round Cam's West tries for another risky move and shows off that black orc agility with a handoff?
No, I don't think you're going to see a handoff. I think this is the point when the match really turns around. I think we're going to see the Blitzkriegers have to use that apothecary in the next turn or two. They went from playing away from the ball to having all their guys in contact. They're all in right now.
Yep.
If the orcs can plan their blocks effectively, they can get a lot of hits on a lot of 2-dice blocks and really do some damage.
And this is what you call, I guess, goal line defense. This is when you see the elves hunker down.
They're trying to get staunch on it, and I think they got enough guys to really cause a problem, but they're going to have to look out, because if they lose a lineman or two, they'd be looking at a completely different half next go around. I mean,
and now it looks like the right side is open. It looks like the right side of that cage is open. Here comes the blitz.
It's not open as you want. There's still a guy in contact. They've got a guy laying down next to it, but they've cleared it out enough where they can reposition. They can throw another block. They can do a few things, but it's not like clean. It's not how you want it. There's still a gap in the back. That right there is what they actually want. They actually want to start getting these knockdowns, get these knockouts, to start to get some of these elves off the field.
So I guess he's close enough where if he needs to in the last 2 turns, he can make a strong push and start to get a little more desperate. You think he's just holding the cage and just starting to beat up some elves?
Yeah, right now, if he clears off the front of it, he's got a 1 go for it, and then he's in. The biggest danger that he's got is that he's got a bunch of elves up in his cage now.
Yep.
So he's gonna have to deal with some attacks, but at the same point, he's got it to the point where that elf had to come back to help, so he doesn't have an elf running deep. He's got to clean his cage up a little bit, but he's really forced the elves to get into a bash war with him, and I think he's going to be happy about that in the long run. You know, it's going to get real interesting because the formal cage is gone. Now it's just a bit,
Okay, he's got to push there. I frankly am very surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised it chose to do that instead of dodging away with the lineman on the bottom right of the screen named Gazmel, number 5. I thought he was going to bring him up and hit him, but I guess he doesn't.
No, I agree with the play. He went with the guy with block in case he ran into a bolt down. It's a veteran move to take a guy with block whenever you can, and the guy was free right there. I don't think he was going to come up with any kind of magical way to come up with a 2-dice block.
I've never run the numbers on the percentages. What do you think? Like, what are the percentages actually better to take one die block? I mean, I'm sorry, 1 die block with a guy with block than it is to take a 2 die block with a guy with without block?
All right, so if your attacker has block and it's 1 die, as long as the other guy doesn't have block, you got a 50% chance of successfully knocking him down. If the guy has block or dodge, it knocks it down to a 32% chance. If he has block and dodge, then it drops down to a 17% chance. With two die without block, you got a 56% chance pretty much across the board, except if he has dodge. Then that takes away the other one. So it's
so that isn't the two die block without the 2 die block without block better than a 1 die block with block? Yeah.
Slightly, but it gets increasingly better if you have rerolls then though. And that's where it really comes in, is if you have the reroll, taking the 2 die block without is better. But it's still to the point where it's a risk either way.
Oh, there you see a right hook from the Orc. That left sideline now looks like there is a big opening, and it does look like Kansas West is trying to seal it.
We got a ball carrier throwing a block now.
Yes, we do, and he's about to make his
open
move.
too, though. Ball in hand and the KO.
Yes. And he does not try to dodge out of there. He's going to stay there. Oh, I'm sorry. That was he used his blitz.
He threw the block and used the blitz, so he's just cleaning up that cage nicely. He's got a couple of black orcs up front. I think right now he's just going to be happy getting hits on these elves and going.
That is what he's doing. Did he wait too long? He's got only one turn left.
He's got
and he has
one
a guy with
turn.
5 movement.
Yeah, but if he gets a clear opening, he's got 2 go-for-its and a reroll. If he doesn't get a clear opening, he can try and make a handoff over to that lineman if he clears them. He's got options.
Yeah.
It's not the worst position ever. You'd prefer to have it right on the goal line, ready to step in, so you can do a little bit of showboating or something like that if you feel like it. But it's not the worst case scenario you've ever been in. You know, he's got himself in position to get a score. He got the hits on the elves that he wants. He's cleared off 3 elves with KO. I don't think the elves are gonna, they didn't get any Bloodweiser babes or anything like that. So, I mean, he's got a good chance of walking into the second half, up a couple of players.
There we go. There's that back dodge, and he falls on the ice.
We got a reroll.
And he's in there. Oh, but the second extra space is what does him in. Will Stuntman Didi go in down 1-0 at the end of the first half for the second upset of the day?
That thrower is mighty aggressive.
Yes,
that Nelson taking up behind him came through and just threw a nice little uppercut, and it was take a seat.
This is where...
So it looks like right now we're looking at him clearing a path straight ahead. He can clear off... he's got a clear path now. We're looking at a pretty much 2 go-for-it walk-in. He's got 2 rerolls, actually. He's got overkill on rerolls, but he still wants to throw more hits. It's becoming risky at this point.
And can you blame him? The more of these slippery elves that are still up in the second half, the easier it's going to be.
He's got 2 go-for-its. He's got 2 83% dice rolls. This is one of those moments where you want to get those hits in, but at what cost?
Right.
At what point?
Because if you spend one of those rerolls right now, then you're you blow one of the go-for-its, you're done.
And here we
go. There you go. There's the first one, and he is going to have to burn a reroll.
Hopefully he can get in.
Oh, these snake eyes! And it appears that the half will end. Yeah, because Stuntman doesn't. He brought that blitzer back. So had the blitzer still been standing there.
That's a heartbreaker, but he made the right call going for it there. It's tough, but it's going to make it extremely tough in the second half now, because he's going to have to try and find a way to get that ball from these elves.
By the way, remember that this is not, we forgot that in a blizzard, you get a -2 modifier on the go-for-its, or you get a -1 modifier on the go-for-its. So that was those were 67% chances. So then it makes you think, was the better call for him to hand off to another guy with 3 agility, maybe one of those other blitzers, at a 67% handoff one time?
At that point, if he could have cleared the lineman would have been a less risk because he would have done a 165% chance handoff. But at that point, he also does have to throw a couple extra blocks to free him. So, I mean, yeah, maybe that would have been a better call, but in the heat of the battle, it's tough to keep track of all the percentages, so you can't really blame him for making one strategic error there. But yeah, I think he played a solid game in the first half from what I saw. You know, he got the hits on there. He didn't get the injuries or the kills, but yeah,
Chase
I
definitely threatened him. Definitely gave the young upstart rookie coach a run for his money there, but the coach gets away.
Oh, but see. The one ray of sunshine in that is that since he didn't score, the Elves only got one chance to stand up. So he's actually going into this second half looking a little better. He's got the Wizard, and he's also got a man advantage on him now because we've got 3 Elves on the sidelines that didn't get to come back. So he's got a full 11, and the Elves are down. What do we got out there? Only 8.
Yeah, because they only got 8 because you got 3 laying down sleeping on the sideline. Nobody got up for the Elves.
that could completely turn this whole game on its ear too. You could still be looking at a 1-0 Kansas win if they can bottle these Elves up a little bit.
You know, Kansas West might Kansas might actually be one of the most underrated teams in the league that we were discussing on the podcast recently. You know, Preach said he scored on Joker unexpectedly. It was closer than people thought. It was 2-1, and then he took Goliath and the Dark Moon Blades to a tie. So is this where we see Kansas Wees just show the league that they're for real?
I don't know. They're showing a lot of respect to these Elves. They must have scouted them and have some concerns with them getting to that point. They've created a wall at what would be about the 25-yard line. Yeah. That they're planting a flag there. It looks like, and almost daring the Elves to come into that scoring range. So a few players up, well, I don't know if it's risky. It's really, really defensive. It's one of those where those front ones are going to take a pounding, I think, and I think what he's really trying to do is lure them up into some kind of a trap or something at that point, because the Elves are going to need to come through there at some point. So he's putting the Black Orcs in front with so few Elves. I mean, it might actually be a good strategy. I'm not sure.
And a perfect defense.
Well, that just turns it on his ear.
Yes.
Let's see if he sticks with that defensive
continues
stand.
to have good luck this game. Is Nuffle on his side?
Is he going to bring those Orcs up and start jumping on these Elves, or?
This is one of those crucial situations. What does the coach do?
No, he's sticking with his defensive
game plan. Stay with the game plan. There you go. He just limits the damage that they can do up front on him.
Is this going to be enough to come out on top?
But it'll be interesting to see kind of how this heads.
Yeah, and I get a little weary with this game and the momentum meter here. You know, because I almost feel like since there are 3 Elves sitting on the sideline, sometimes I feel like this game will even the odds up. And you might see an Orc injury.
Oh, we definitely see that. I'm a little surprised that there's still one Orc standing. I kind of expected him to kick that Orc
sideways,
more towards the line to get another shot in, but both teams may be playing a little defensive here. I mean, the Elves have a good reason to.
And this is the difference.
Down a few players.
This is the difference between farm play and pro play. I think people are a lot more cautious in the pros with their team. You know, you don't want to end up like the.
They really have to. The biggest thing that we're looking at right now is the Blitzkreigers are actually down both of their 5 agility guys right now. So they've
they lost the Blitzer last turn.
Well, they lost the tip of their spear.
Yeah, they did.
They've still got their strength 4 bruiser out there that you're seeing in action there. But they lost that tip of the spear. They lost both of their guys that can go into that traffic and make that catch. So you're seeing them cage up. I think they're really going to see if these Orcs are going to stick with this defensive positioning, or if they're going to get aggressive and go for that ball.
Now let me ask you: is a cage in this instance the right thing to do, knowing that there's a Wizard out there?
Come on, guys, together.
I think they're pretty safe with it right now. I think they're looking for a hole defensively so that they can make a move.
Right.
Kanswees looks like he's going to try and just bash with 3.
Yeah. I've
and
noticed. I have not seen this before. He's sending a fire team recon unit out to just see what they can do to the elves by themselves, alone and unafraid.
Yeah. This is one of the most. I have never seen a defense like this, and at first I didn't like it at all, and all of a sudden I'm really starting to like it. If the elves have to cage this whole time because they can't punch a hole through that wall, just with these black orcs just standing there, daring them to do something. It's just like, come at me, bro.
Right. This reminds me, with those 3 orcs out there, this reminds me of that movie, Lone Survivors. Lone Survivor.
Haven't seen that one.
You're missing out. That's a great American movie right there.
Nice. No, but yeah, we're looking at a bit of a stalemate here. It'll be interesting to see when that wizard comes into effect. But I mean, we could be looking at these elves just pound on these 3 guys for another 4 or 5 turns, and then maybe a black orc sneaks up a little ways or something like that, throw somebody extra into the mix. But no, this is a defense I wouldn't be prepared to try and figure out, really.
If the player is pushed,
so it looks like he's committing to a sideline.
Fans are much more dangerous than players.
It's almost like he's daring the orcs to try and do something. He's got one. Oh, we got a wizard.
And he uses the wizard at the beginning of the turn. Now, see, what I was wondering was, is this a wise time for him to do that? Was that too early, without sufficient ground for him to be able to?
No, he's making his move. He's making his move. Is what he did there. He decided
he's got the whole
that
team back.
He's got an opening. Yeah, but he's got an opening. So there's no risk in using it. The elves may play a little bit differently now, but it's to the point where he can take that risk. Like, if he gets that ball, that stalls the elves for another turn or 2.
Yeah, but the problem is, look, he's got 6 elves over there standing up. Not to mention the one that was just up and went down. He had 2 guys on their back, 3 guys on their back. I don't know. I think I would have waited until that gap between the rest of the team and those elves was closer before I tried something like that. And if you were going to do that, I think you do that when they're caged up and they got 5 elves in your fireball range instead of the 1, the 3 over there.
I could see it, but I think he wanted to make a move. He's played conservative except for 1 or 2 moves. I think he saw an opportunity. There was only 3 elves over there. He was able to take the lightning bolt. If the ball pops out of bounds and scatters someplace good for him, he's going to be happy. He's kind of still got the elves in a decent position. They're on the sideline. Yeah, they've got some mobility. They're in striking range, but he can start collapsing in. He can do a lot of things. He's got options still.
Well, let's not forget also, though, is that by using that wizard early, it also takes away the threat. So now where Stuntman Didi had to worry about that wizard there, and maybe if he had an opening, score quickly, now he can pretty much manage that clock the way he wants because he knows he doesn't have the wizard sitting there hanging over his head.
Yeah, to a certain extent, but the man advantage is still there. It's going to keep the elves honest to a certain point. If they can't poke the ball in the next turn or 2, they're gonna find themselves pinned between the sideline and a bunch of orcs, and that's not a position that any elf wants to be in. So it's to the point where, I mean, if nothing else, Kanswees has really forced them to make a decision at this point. They can't grind it out another 4 or 5 turns and then not leave the orcs enough time to score. The orcs are going to, if this goes in, the orcs are going to get a chance to respond to this, and that's not necessarily a bad situation for these orcs. They're putting a lot of contact on there, though. That could end up coming back to haunt them.
Backfiring, right?
I think they may have
aggressive.
they may have just opened up a chance for these elves to really punch a little hole through there and cause some damage. We'll see how this blitz goes.
And this hasn't been released to the public yet, but as a bonus for watching this broadcast here with us announcing, I'll let you in on a secret, but the current holder of the record for rushing in the in a single game in the MML is actually the Blitzkreigers. So
really,
yes, they took over. They busted the previous record, which was I think like 158, something like that, set by the Scuttlebutts back in all the way back in season 1.
You got to re-roll.
We do. Okay. And the Blitzkreigers had 164 yards rushing in week 1 against the Loren Rockets, who we now know affectionately as the Loren Loners after they took at least four injuries that their team is decimated, man. They got seven players left.
Oh yeah. No, that's that's a tough break. They're becoming this year's equivalency of I believe last year it was the what was the Wood Elf team that Ninja 2K was running that had absolutely been decimated?
It wasn't Pierce Pastries.
No, it wasn't the Pastries. It was the.
Got a back roundhouse kick there, and a Orc Blitzer goes down. Ooh, and if he can clear this little space right here, and he does, there is an opening up the sideline, and it looks like the Blitzkriegers may be off to the. No, they're not.
He didn't have enough range to make it.
I didn't realize that was a lineman
out there.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a lineman. Okay, and this is where this is when you wonder whether investing in particular types of players, then rather than taking this generic every man can do this job, like next man up kind of mentality that the Blitzkriegers have in building their team, would have paid off.
Well, I think their build is good for a team just coming into the league. I think in another season or two.
Another Dark Elf down. That is not good. The longer they sit out there, the worse it gets for them.
Well, I think the Orcs have really turned the corner, keeping them pinned in, not allowing them to advance. They're just going to slowly choke into that cage, and if they're positioning solid, which it looks to be, this is one of those where this has got to be about as comfortable as an Orc team can feel in a 0-0 game without the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like somebody studied their film during the week. Somebody studied their game film on the Dark Elves.
That's something that you can definitely say about Chase's games all the way through. He's been playing extremely solid teams, and he's been making
another stun. Ouch.
He's been making them play a little bit different game than they're comfortable with.
Now you only got 6. We were talking about the Loren Rockets being down to 7 guys on the team, and you got 6 players standing right now on this turn for the Dark Elves. This is where, if the Blitzkriegers manage to get this touchdown, you can really say hello to one of the new league gurus in terms of coaching. And he is gonna go. Looks like he's gonna pass. He is gonna pass. And another revelation. I think this was the same record from last year, but it has not been broken. The passing record, passing record right now is 86 yards. He fumbles the pass, and this time he makes it, guys. Mel packs it in, and we have a touchdown. Coach JJ has got to be throwing his headset right now. He did everything he could, and sometimes you just can't stop these slippery little jerks.
No, that definitely didn't see that one coming. I thought that spot was a little bit thin, but I didn't see the blitz and then heading to the end zone.
Now you got 2 of the Dark Elves get up. This is a nightmare situation. What turned into a pretty good situation, what was a pretty good situation for the Orcs, has turned into a precarious one very quickly. And now they've only got 4 turns to punch it in and tie this game.
Yeah, they'll have to be fairly aggressive at getting the ball in position, but their man advantage could really come in handy here, you know. As long as they can get those first couple of blocks in, they could really set up an advanced cage and make a pretty good jump in field position, because there's a nice big pocket in there.
That being said, the Orcs can't be as cautious as they were last half, because they don't have 8 turns to make it happen. They have half that time. So they are going to have to push forward and make contact.
But they're in a real good position because they've got a couple of guys on the line with block. They can get a couple of safe hits in most likely, and then like I said, if they can get the ball even if they get the ball past halfway or at the half field mark in this turn, I think they'll be happy just kind of getting set up a little bit and really just They don't need to go into panic mode. So far this game has been fairly in control. They've had some fairly good success early. But yeah, it's one of those where they'll have to make a couple of decisions in the near future, but they can slow play at a touch. You know.
All right, looks like he's going to move up with Took Fang. He's going to hand it off. Going to have to use a reroll.
I don't know if I agree with that one. That's a little bit risky for my likings, but
no, it was 267% rolls though, and he missed both of them.
But I don't think the gain in position was going to be good enough. I think that he could have.
That's true.
He could have just taken a couple of steps to the left or positioned a few extra guys around that.
This is a risky move, and it works out. You see, this is what I was talking about. This is what happened in the TMNL game last week. The same thing. He pushed him into that ball, and it came back the way he was pushed.
I'm actually astounded that he went for it with that particular player.
Yes.
He must really want to get that dump off. I would have expected him to bring up his blitzer with the 5 agility and go for that.
Don Eagle says that was a 1 in 9 chance of picking that up, and it was unnecessary. It looks to me like the Blitzkreigers don't just want to win; they want to beat you down and establish dominance. They're seeing that opening in the polls with Joker having been defeated, and they've tasted what it feels to be like in that #1 seat, and they want to convince everybody we belong here. We are the #1 team.
I got bad news. This early in the season, you really don't want to be the #1 team. I think the Bill Cowher Power Hour was #1 last season in like week 3, and all it does is put a big giant target on you. You know,
well, I think everybody's going to want to beat you anyway.
No, there's a special kind of heat when you're the throne, or when you're a Blitzkrieg, or when you're an established team. I think that might be some of the reason why some of these coaches that have been in the league for a season or two and are kind of known. There's a little bit more tape on them. You can scout them a little bit more. You kind of know which players to look out for.
Gotcha.
You know, they're giving up a little bit of extra team value so that it creates a little bit more of an opening for a younger team that's hungry to kind of come in and pick up a wizard or a couple other things and kind of create some issues for you.
Gotcha. So Don Eagle just clearing up. I guess he meant the handoff was a 1 in 9 chance. I didn't think it was a 1 in 9 chance. I thought it was a handoff to another blitzer, right? That would have been a 67% handoff.
Well, it's a 67% chance. Does the cold weather have an effect on that, though?
No. That's just GFI. So now the block is thrown on the ball carrier. He dumps it off, and then he's going to take a seat. And then now I'm going to be curious. What's Blitzkreigers going to do? Are they going to sit back on their 1-0 lead, or are they going to try to score? And all indications so far are that he is not going to be satisfied with a 1-0 win. Yes, Blitz versus Eats there. Preach.
I think I know what he's going to try and do, but I'm not gonna reveal that until the next turn. I think I see something that he's trying to set up, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this turn goes and how that's going to affect things.
Now, with this being 3 turns out from the end of the game, the Orcs are in full court press mode, doing everything they can.
That last block may actually help the elf. It puts that elf into one.
Don was saying 1 in 9 to fail. Gotcha on that other handoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think that handoff was necessary. I don't think the advantages of the handoff were enough to really make that big of a risk.
I mean, I will say that with time running out, with him having only 4 turns, every square does kind of count, as you saw at the end of the first half. However, now he's in a much worse position where he doesn't even have the ball, and this is so. I guess hindsight is 20/20, right? But it did not pay off for him. And there is the block, and you're going to see him storm day. Is that what you thought he was going to do?
Yeah, no, I figured he was going to try and free that guy. That guy is a matchup issue. He's got the thrower is his plus agility thrower, so he can throw a block on the black orc if he wants, or he can just dodge out of there.
Oh, that's a blitzer
so I
with
think you're going to see him doing. Yeah, I think you're going to see him dodge out of there. He'll put tackle zones on those the guys on the far side.
Yeah.
Which you saw him move into position. That lowers the chance of interception, and now you're going to see the pass.
You think it's wise to pass it now this turn? Oh, that's an
my gosh, an interception!
There's an interception by the Orcs! We have 2 turns left. Ken's Wheeze eat! Ken's Wheeze eats it!
I think that may have just turned the game on its ear. Oh,
no! And then a double dice skulls! This game just keeps getting crazier!
Oh, that's worst case scenario there. He can blitz the ball, pick it up with the agility guy. Oh, he doesn't even have to blitz. We're looking at a game that just got out of control.
Oh, so many turnovers, so much action, so much fun. This game was everything that it was built to be. What a game! The ball is loose. There's only going to be one more turn for the Orcs after this. They look to be out of range, so unless their one-turn skills are crazy, and I don't see a troll on the field anywhere, this game is over. Are you going to see showboating here? And he's in! 2-0 score! That is a statement touchdown.
There's no room to showboat there. But that being said, the last 2 terms are one of those where you can't anticipate any of that. You know, that's where having that re-roll really makes a difference.
Yeah,
You know,
and part of that is, as you know, you forced them to use these re-rolls early. And he did. He used them. He was out of them, and then he didn't have them when the crucial time came. But if you're Chase J.J. right now, you got to be cursing Nuffle. You got to be breaking your Nuffle statuettes and your, sacrificing goats. Whatever you're doing over there, you're angry as hell. And you're going to beat up some elves in turn 16.
No, I don't think that at all. It's one of those where he played a solid game.
You don't think he's angry about the shake he got from Nuffle here? I would be furious.
He's not happy, but you can't be that upset. I mean, you gave a good run. You're playing a good team, one of the top teams in the league. He's had a schedule from hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not happy about not getting the win, but at the same point,
I'd be furious right now. But, I'm furious about losing such a close game, especially the way the first half ended. I mean, you had the first half ended in a very unlikely way, and then he get screwed like that again. That's, wow.
Look,
the end of both halves is bad for him. When the smoke clears, he'll be able to be proud of himself. Yes, I agree with that.
When he watches the replay, he's going to see a handful of plays where maybe he wants to do it a little bit different here or there. There weren't a lot of glaring issues, though.
No. Coaching-wise, Chase did great. Chase did great coaching-wise.
If the handoff goes to the blitzer, fine. We're looking at a completely different game, because he may have had a few more hits in him, and maybe he saw something that he really wanted to kind of set up, and he needed that extra movement. Maybe he was going to the opposite side of the field, or he saw some weakness. It's easy hindsight-wise to look at something and go, well, I would have done it this way. There's no way I would have made that block.
I don't think he's going to have any regrets as far as the way he coached. I think where he is going to be frustrated is how the dice played out. And it looks like here comes the turn 16 foul. There goes the frustration. Here it comes.
He just got a free re-roll. The game's over. I'm not a big fan of this maneuver. I'm not a big fan of this maneuver, but I've seen it be well accepted into the league.
All this is doing is helping the record book if he's even close, and I don't think he's close on the KOs. The current record for KOs in the league is 9, set by Mouse in Season 2, Week 4 against the Dark Oak Deerskins. So,
which is just, that's it. The Dark Oak Deerskins was the team last season that only had 5-6 players left at the end. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that was, I remember seeing, come on,
wait, why
not
do
the
that?
handoff. You got to make a throw.
Why do that? Yeah, you don't get SPP for that. That was just risky for no reason, but hey, whatever. He got his SPP. I guess he's just showboating. But, unfortunately, man, what a tough loss. I can't wait for the post-game interviews. By the way, since you tuned in, you got in a little late to the podcast shots, we got both coaches who have been listening to our commentary and are in the party right now. So we're going to get post-game interviews with both of them. First, I would like to hear from the winner, the Blitzkreigers, Stuntman Didi. Where you at, buddy? Can you let us know if you can hear Stuntman Didi? Give us a resounding hell yeah.
I think it's okay now.
Okay.
Is that okay?
All right. Well, they'll let us know if they can't hear you. But so basically, again, the end of the game, it was really, really close, and you just stayed calm, and we're still trying to like score, taking chances. What was your mindset there at the end of the game?
Well, actually, every single time I tried to defend hard, it didn't work. So I always try to score because it's to me the best way to defend. Well, it's what works with me.
Right. So your mindset is you don't care if you're up 1-0 and there's 2 turns left in the game. You're trying to punch it into the end zone, and that's how you play defense.
Yes, because when I try anything else, it doesn't work.
Wow, that's good. I mean, I was surprised to see some of the moves. A lot of people would have tried to just hang back, surround the ball, maybe grab it and sit back there and just try to escape contact. And you were aggressive, man. I mean, I got to tell you, as a Blood Bowl fan and a fellow coach in the league, it was hell of fun to watch. But it almost backfired. It almost backfired. The Orcs got the interceptions. What were you thinking when the Orcs got that interception in turn 15?
Oh shit. That was a good thing, I guess.
I can understand. But you kept calm.
Yeah, actually, I didn't have that much time to think about it because just after this, he made the double skull.
Right.
So I didn't have the time to panic.
Right. Shots, I'm going to let you ask him any questions you got. In the meantime, if you're in the chat and you want to ask Stuntman Didi any questions, go ahead and post those questions right now.
I'm getting bored.
Congratulations on the win, Stuntman. It was a well-played game. The one thing that I noticed is you almost had 2 different defensive packages. The first half you played really conservatively until he got into scoring range and then started to muddle up the cage a bit. And then you came out real aggressively once the ball was on the ground in the second half. Are you used to kind of setting up in 2 separate ways, or was it just you took an opportunity when the ball hit the ground?
No, it was because I didn't have that much player in the second time. So
okay. So you made an adjustment.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly.
I was a little surprised that you didn't play keep away after you had the ball in the second half. I've seen a lot of coaches do that, where they'll just kind of fall back and set up a screen and try and just burn out the clock. You did an aggressive play. You ended up getting intercepted, but still were able to manage the touchdown. How was that roller coaster of emotions? I know that that it's not easy, but what was the one thing in that group of actions that you would do differently if you had to?
I would have taken the ball with my 5 AG player rather than the other one, and then transmit it to the 4 strength runner.
Okay. So you would have went
with the
Yeah.
I would have done this, but still I would have give it to the runner just to make a lightning pass in case of blitz.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Didi, I gotta.
It was a great win.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
It was a great win. I appreciate you coming on with us. I'm sure that Chase is waiting in the wings.
Right.
I got one last question
on the win. Okay.
My last question for you here is, coming into this game, all right, last week you were clearly #1 on everybody's list. You were the #1 coach, and then on the podcast, Preach kind of doubted you. He said, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid on this guy. He hasn't seen veteran players yet. He hasn't seen the best the league has to offer."
Yeah, I saw that.
And this past week, you dropped in the rankings, and Joker took your first place spot. Did that affect you in any way? Did you have any feelings about that at the time?
Well, I was disappointed to not to play my week 3 game.
Right.
That's all. Then, well, I had a victory anyway, so that was okay. Didn't think about anything else, really.
Gotcha. A man who speaks through his actions and lets his gameplay show.
Because I was expecting my game the whole last week, and then I had the victory yesterday night, and I'm just playing week 4 game right now, so I didn't have the time to think about it.
Gotcha. Well, now you get all week to think about how well you did in this game, and Well, congratulations to my fellow rookie coach. Let's bring on your opponent.
You were playing, Bob?
We're going to bring on your opponent, Chase JJ of Cans Wheeze Eats It. You know, this whole time I didn't know it was Can Wheeze Eats It. I thought it was Cans West. We may have lost him. Oh, okay. Chase says no mic, so chat only, unfortunately. Oh, well, I think we'll just call this one Chase JJ leaves the locker room upset and does not want to talk to the media. We'll await the...
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case.
We will await the press release.
He'd be more than happy.
I'm sure he would.
He'd be more than happy. I'm sure we'll see out of that locker room.
Let me up the drama here, man. Let me up the drama. This is what we do in MML.
Oh, you're just spreading evil lies. The evil lies.
I want to see a scathing press release about Nuffle and how he got screwed at the end of 2 halves.
No, I'm pretty sure we'll hear from it, but it'll be in his own words.
Cool. All right, well, to everybody who has tuned in, I want to thank you for tuning in. What an amazing game. Everything it was built to be. The score does not really reflect how close it was. Thank you to both competitors. Thank you to my co-host, More Shots. You got anything as we sign off?
Oh, no. I'm good. It was a heck of a game. I'm glad I could stop by and chat with you.
Yes, sir. And as always, you are watching the MML. For more information on the MML and for our history and awesome articles and a dope podcast and everything that's good about Blood Bowl and PS4, check out MML Pro, www.mmlpro.com. Thanks. We're out of here.